Well, hello, everybody. Welcome again to Audrey Live. Hello, hello. Summer is here, and it's just another great day out there. Um, really enjoying the sunshine. We had a couple of days of rain, and which was much needed, I think, in our area. But right now, we're just having another sunny day, nice and cool. Actually, it's like a perfect summer day. Really enjoyed our vacation last week. We were rented a cottage off of Lake Huron, close to Kincardine, and just a small, cute little cottage. Nothing, no, not even a dishwasher, no air conditioning. So really back to basics. But we just had a wonderful time with our family there, and we did a quick video last week Thursday, so hopefully some of you saw that, and some of the things that we did there. So I'll talk a little bit about that later on as well. Today our show is just filled, we jam filled. We actually have two guests today, two live guests. It's the first time that we've done that, which is kind of neat, and might be something that we continue to do. More and more people that want to be part of the show, and we just want to share things with you of what's going on in the creative art community. So today we have Debbie James. She'll be on the show. Join the conversation with her about her outdoor art sale that they had up in Port Elgin last week. And she'll tell us a little bit about that, how they had to go about doing it and regulations and all that sort of thing. So if it's something that you've been thinking about doing, you might want to stay tuned in to listen to Debbie. Also, she'll be doing a demo for us, which I'm really excited about. We also have an upcoming wonderful young artist, Bridget Poole from Toronto. And we'll have a great chat with her and get to know her a little bit more, because I'm sure it's somebody that you're going to see on the artist scene. And she's going to be doing butterfly painting for us. So that'll be a lot of fun. I also have a video to show you from Julie Lafaille. She has a marbling art technique that we will be taking a quick look at. So, and it's her own technique. There's a lot of marbling out techniques out there, but this is her own technique that she's come up with the products that she uses and things like that. So it's really, really amazing to watch. So anyway, a little bit back to our vacation. Yeah, we had a great time, and we did a lot of crafts with the kids. I have three grandchildren, and typically Daphne, the oldest one, she does like to craft, but you know, it's back and forth what she wants to do, and she's 6 years old. And then Mike is 4, and he's not a big crafter yet, but he's starting to come around. And so it was really kind of neat that we had some crafts that he wanted to do and kept engaged. And then Anna, who's only 2, yeah, she loved the painting and the stickers and that sort of thing. Here, I've on my mug here, there's the 3 little door. Now that's from last year, so they've grown quite since then. I was going to print out a picture from our vacation. I'm sorry I didn't do it. So next week I'll have a couple that I can show for you, hopefully as well. So a couple of things that we did. One was birdhouses. We had gotten a few kits from when I did kits here. I don't remember if everybody remembers or not, but when COVID first started, I live in a small community of about 300 people, and there's about 32 kids in the community. So I did up crafting kits every week for all of them, just to keep them busy. Kind of started out that I was doing crafting with my grandkids because it was March break, and my oldest daughter was here, Ashley, with her children as well. So it was all 3 kids, and we were crafting. And then just thought that, Daphne had mentioned maybe the neighbor kids that she hung out with, they would love to have a kit. So we kind of started the kits with the neighbor kids, and every week we had a different kit for them to craft. And one of the weeks, a good friend of mine, Cliff Alcock, he did birdhouses for them, birdhouse kits, and they were amazing. So anyway, my 3 grandkids, we hadn't got around to making them yet, so we did. We did. My husband Peter helped them, and they loved that. They hammered them and putting them together, and so that was a lot of fun. And then another thing that I had found, and something that just they loved to do as well, we were collecting stones, all different size stones, because I had seen this, the what they call, I guess, pebble art. So this is my family, and so I just put family. So of course these are just kind of like a driftwood, and then we collected different stones, and I made a family tree, which put all the name. And of course I've left some extra ones just in case we get more additions to the family. Who knows, right? So that was a lot of fun, and I made one for my mom and dad as well, and our whole extended family. And then Ashley and Tinica, or Ashley made one for her family, and Tina or Daphne made one for her family. So that was a lot of fun to do as well. So yeah, so I think that's about my vacation. We're going to be going next week and again camping with our family. We do it every year, our DeYoung family, so it's kind of like our extended family. So that'll be interesting at a campground. So other than that, we don't have a lot of vacation going on. We're just staying home, like most of people out there, and enjoying what we have here as well. So I got some great news from Soraya. Some of you remember she was on our show a few weeks back. She's from the Netherlands. Very unique, amazing, colorful artist, I can say. And she now has all of her website and online workshops. Her collage workshops are all available in English. So please go to her website, which is art-cademy, CADEMY.NL. And I will put the link up on our site there as well, or on the feed, or Soraya, if you're on, just kind of comment with that there as well, so that people can see what the link is and that they can go. So all the people that watch the show, if you still want to check out her workshops, you can do it by going to her website and checking that out. Yeah, that would be great. I'll see if she's on or not. I haven't really looked there yet. Oh, there we go. Okay, so perhaps she's on and she can put the link there for you. Oh, there I go with my volume again. Sorry about that. So yeah, so hi, Sue. I see Sue's on, and Denise and Mary and Bella and Anna Marie and Marg and Janice and many others that I can't see your name. Sorry, it just kind of says, and so many others. It doesn't give everybody's name unless you comment. So comment, ask questions, and throughout the show, we will try to answer. Also remember to start a watch party, which is kind of neat with your friends, just get more people involved. And if you're not able to see the whole show, or you'd like to go back and see the show again or past shows, you can always go to our YouTube channel, just which is Pin It Canada, and all our shows are there. So make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell, because then you will get notification when we have when we upload our next show. So typically it's done on the weekend, but because Corey does that for me, and she's over in Korea. But big news, she will be home on August 28th. We are so excited. She's coming home. So that'll be interesting, because of course we have to do a 14-day self-isolation with her all over again. So yeah, it'll really truly be kind of like a staycation, I guess. We'll all be vacationing at home, the three of us, and getting groceries brought in and things like that. So kind of back to where we were at the very beginning, but it won't last long, and we're just really happy that she's home. So I'm going to show you first. I would mention that I have a video from Julie Lafaille, the marbling art technique. So I'm going to show that to you right now, and enjoy. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I promise it's coming. I just have to make sure I click that sound so that you can hear it as well. So enjoy. That is amazing. I just, I could just watch that all day long. All those colors go into each other. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. Ruth asks, what is she using? So I'll suggest at this point in time to go to her website, and we will post that down below as well. And hopefully we'll get Julie on in the upcoming months. She is from Quebec, so English is not her first language. So I know she's a little bit apprehensive, but perhaps we can just get her on to briefly explain how to do the technique and what she uses. But at this point in time, you can go to her website. Also, she has a YouTube channel, and you can get more information there as well. So also just wanted to say, I see Betty is on, and a shout out. Soraya just wanted to say congrats to Betty Van Pelt. She was the one who won the giveaway from Soraya. So I'm sure you have gotten the email already, Betty, about that. And congratulations. Just so nice to have so many winners as part of the show. So also Sue, I see you're still in the hospital. Sue McCullough, I hope you're getting better there. So just wanted to say, I'm so happy that you're watching us from your hospital bed, and that we are the therapy that you need right now, and hopefully bring a smile to your face. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sue, and that we're thinking about you, and well wishes that you're getting better soon. So today, we have 2 live guests. I said that before, 2 live guests. I'm so excited. So we better get right to it. Our first live guest is Debbie James. Debbie is from Port Elgin, Ontario. She's been painting for approximately 30 years. I have to go and see. I think there we are. For 30 years, she's dabbled in most mediums, but enjoys working mainly in acrylics and mixed media. Debbie is a deco art helping artist and Dynasty brush creator. And it looks like she's trying to connect there. So hopefully she'll get that connected shortly. She's a longtime colleague and friend of mine. She teaches at local classes, seminars, and at conventions. Welcome, Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Get your audio all set up there. Do you have your sound? I don't hear you. Connecting.
Now I can hear you.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Well, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. And how is
Great.
it there in Port Elgin today?
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day here as well. It's the sun is shining, and I think it's like 23 degrees, and it just can't get any better.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the creative art business? I know you've had a multitude of occupations or things that you've done in the past. What was your creative journey?
Well, I am by education an RN, and worked in the hospital for many years, and was always busy with my hands when I wasn't working. So, if I wasn't baking for the kids, I was knitting them sweaters or sewing their clothes or curtains or whatever. And my mom had been an oil painter. And I didn't really appreciate her work until I got at it myself. But, I would see her coming in from her classes weekly, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. Then I was at a craft sale, which I went to all the craft sales. And there was a lady near Georgetown where we were in Brampton at the time, but she was offering beginner classes in toll painting. And so I was talking to her, and I said, oh, I don't think I could do this. And she said, I guarantee you can do this. And so I signed up for a beginner course, and the rest is history. From there, I started taking classes with her regularly, but then also from some of the bigger brushes that were offering seminars. And then I started going to convention, and eventually started teaching. And I taught in Acton at Paint and Friends, which was owned by Brenda LaRose and Ruth Cranendonk.
Yes, know them very well.
Yeah. So I taught there for quite a while. And then I started teaching at Harborcraft in Oakville as well. And that was owned by Eiley Hamill and Jenkins.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so worked there for quite a while, and unfortunately, both of the studios closed eventually. But I just continued on with. I love taking class, and I love painting with other people, other teachers.
Yeah.
To experience their ways of doing things, different techniques that they might have, and so on. So I kept going, and then you gave me the opportunity to teach at Coast to Coast quite a few years ago now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and had a great time and have carried on since then.
Awesome. Well, that's what I
So
say.
yeah,
You kind of took it to the next level because with the teaching portion and designing. I mean, you started designing. I mean, a lot of people take it to that point, like I did. That I took classes and then I taught classes, but I always taught other people's designs. I never had a feeling to dabble into that myself. That must have been a whole nother process, just kind of coming up with designs yourself and
it is, and it's challenging.
yeah.
And anybody who does designs and puts them out there, I think we sweat over the instructions more than anything else, because what you did, but to try and communicate that in a way that
Yes.
people will understand is not always easy. So to me, that's the hardest part. I can sit down and paint something, but then describe how you did that.
Step by step for somebody else to do.
Well, it's just like computer programming, right? If you miss a step, it
Yeah,
can cause issues. So yeah,
exactly.
same.
Exactly. So, and you
Yeah,
kind of jumped out of the gate during this COVID thing and you had a artist driveway sale.
we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it last week Saturday? I think it was last week Saturday, right?
yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Um,
So what was the whole process involved with that? That must have been interesting.
well, I've had probably, I think I counted up 8 different shows canceled between May and December. There's one still pending. But like, that's a big source of my income to support my going to convention and taking classes and seminars and so on.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a huge stash of inventory. So I was talking to my hubby and I said, do you think we could do something outside in the yard? He said, well, I don't see why not. So then I talked to another friend and we decided who we would like to invite to participate with us. And so there were 5 of us. And the one lady is very involved with nonprofits and charity organizations in the community. And she was concerned that there would be backlash from some of the people who had their fundraising events canceled.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought, okay, well, how are we going to approach this then? So she offered to do it. She went to public health first, and then they put her off to the municipality. So she phoned the town and talked to them, and they directed her to the police.
That's quite the process.
Yeah. So anyway, she had quite a conversation with this one police officer Andy, and it reminds me like of Andy of Mayfield or
Yeah.
Mayfair. Anyway, he was okay because we had laid out some plans already, to direct traffic and that sort of thing. And so he just wanted to make sure that we had social distancing, in effect, mask wearing, hand sanitizing, all that sort of thing. And then also told us, so this was during stage 2, so things hadn't opened up quite as much yet.
Yeah.
And he informed us that if we didn't comply, we were probably looking at about $8,500 in fines.
Wow.
So that's an incentive to comply.
Make sure that you're doing everything correct. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so once we got the okay from him, then stage 3 opened up. So then we could invite more people.
Yeah.
Because we had kept it pretty low key to begin with, in order to keep the social distancing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So eventually we got busy and we did a lot of Facebook advertising. We had a great turnout. There were 5 of us, as I said. So we had one girl does sign art. Another lives in a bush lot, and her husband has a sawmill and a kiln. And so she does beautiful breadboards and charcuterie boards and that sort of thing. Then we had Jenna, our baker, and she had a little bit of home baking, but most of it was jams and jellies and preserves. And then there was me with all my painted stuff. And then another lady who does beeswax wraps for food.
Oh.
And her husband, and he does woodworking, like children's puzzles. And he makes these wonderful mud kitchens for kids.
Oh,
so it's like a big workbench with the sink and the taps and everything. Yeah. So it was really great.
I saw a picture of that, and right away I thought, oh, that is really a neat idea.
Yeah, he got orders for quite a few of them. So those were the people involved. They were all very happy with the turnout and their sales. And the customers that came in seemed to be very high spirited. They're getting out, they're doing something. It was a beautiful day. They're seeing people that they haven't seen for a long time and so on. So overall, nice. I would say it was extremely successful. Yeah. And, we were pretty unsure at the beginning how it was all going to go, but it worked out well. Oh, good, so a couple of the other things, we couldn't have any open food products, and we had to encourage debit or credit payment. Okay. Rather than cash.
Like that available, like the tap or something like that available.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the majority of people paid that way. I think people are getting far more used to it now. Than they were originally. So we divided the driveway off with pylons and a rope, and had an entrance sign with hand sanitizer right there. People, strolled through and then came back out the other side and had more hand sanitizer at each station. And good. And people used it. People were very, very good.
Awesome. Well, and I guess that's the most important thing, is everybody staying safe and people realize what the situation is, and you deal with it. It's just nice that you're able to do something like that and offer that to the community.
And I was really happy that we went ahead and got the approval too. It would have been a terrible ordeal if somebody had driven up and said, well, I'm the bylaw officer and you're in trouble. Yeah, so that part was a good thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I noticed that there were quite a few garage sales happening this weekend coming up, so I guess people are feeling more comfortable and getting things
out
there.
And doing that. Yeah.
Pardon me, but there's different restrictions for selling secondhand goods as opposed to new goods.
Oh, okay. So if someone was wanting to do it, that's probably the best way for them to go through the process, go to their municipality, their health and safety, regulations that the municipality, and then they'll direct them whatever way is best for their community.
Well, yeah, in case they have to
and
visit
then maybe
with
they'll find Andy as well. Liz Garcia says, you mean from Mayberry? Andy Mayberry?
Yeah.
Some of the younger ones might not remember Andy from Mayberry, but we remember Andy from Mayberry. So anyway, you always been giving classes in your studio and going around the community and doing some of the paint nights. So how are you filling that hole?
There's quite a hole there.
Yeah.
When this first all started, I had probably about, I would say, 200 painters lined up for March and April.
Yeah.
And of course had to cancel everything. So now that things have opened up a little bit, I have some girls that are going to come to the house.
Oh, good.
And there will be a group of 8, and I have enough room that I can really space them out so that they won't be on top of each other. And I think that will work. But as far as doing anything out in the community, not yet. So, no. But instead of, feeling sorry for myself, I've been busy. So I've been watching and painting along with people online. Yeah. I have a list here because I want to give a little shout out to these people. Okay, first of all, there was the Pin It Live, which was great.
Yeah.
And thanks to Cindy Ohama, I did my first batik.
Ah, there you go. See, you're inspired.
And I need to practice, but boy, it was fun to do.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I painted with Debbie Cole. That was a wonderful Zoom class.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm going to be painting with Sandy coming up, Sandy McTeer.
Oh, and she is watching. I see her on. She is watching. So shout out to Sandy.
Yeah, check out her beautiful fish with all the neat techniques. And then I watched Tracy Moreau and painted along with her, Cindy Harrison, Andy Jones, Maureen Baker, Lori Speltz, Sandy Greco. And those are the ones I can think of right off the top of my head. But there's so much going on online that it's hard to schedule everything.
I know.
So.
That's what people keep asking me. Can you change your show? Because they paint with plaid is on before us from 12 to 1. So sometimes it overlaps, but it's really hard because there is so many nowadays. So we just chose this time because it just kind of worked well that way. So, but
but these have all been really enjoyable and really informative. And I'd encourage anybody, if you've got the time for an hour, or more, sit down and watch a tutorial. You can always learn something, right?
Yep,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we better you're going to show us something that you've been working on, or a demonstration, because we got to get over to our other guest as well today. So we'll keep moving along here. And
alrighty.
So
I'm gonna flip.
Okay, perfect. And I will pin you.
Okay.
As well. There we go.
Okay. Can you get a good look at my
Yes. Yep, we can see the surface.
Okay, great. So
I'm gonna try to mute myself.
All right. So anybody who knows me knows that I live near beaches on Lake Huron, and I am a bit of a water baby. I love being by the water, and I love to paint beaches. So I had these old slate roofing shingles, and these are the last two that I have, unfortunately. But I wanted to do a beach scene, and you may have seen on Pin It Live, I had a different one. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's sold. So anyway, I started doing this, and I wanted to show you some of the different embellishments that I put on here. So the waves, the crest of the waves, have a little bit of clear granular gel, and this is the product. It's a golden product.
Oh,
so
sorry, Debbie. Vicer just says you're upside down.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure.
Well, I can turn it.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know how that worked.
No. Guess it just depends on how your camera is there, and you might have to.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, perfect. That's
okay.
Better.
Thank you, Debbie. So the crests of the waves have this clear granular gel on it. So it is an acrylic gel. It dries a little bit glossy, and it gives a nice little sparkle and a little bit of texture to the waves. And I also brought it in along the shoreline where the waves are coming in. And then to show a little bit of the wash up onto the shore, I used Tri-Arts reharvested glass, and that's this product. It also is soap and water cleanup, and it dries a little bit darker than in the jar. The sand I put on with, and this is rough. I don't know. This is DecoArt's texture sand paste.
Can you turn it around? It's upside down as well. There we go. Perfect.
Thank you. So anyway, this is DecoArt's texture sand medium paste, and it can be mixed with paint or it can be applied on its own. It's sort of a light gray color, and it dries clear with just the texture in it. So it's a really neat product to use. Then I had some little stones, and I had some driftwood. So I put all of that in. And I just wanted to show you quickly. Sorry, just set that aside. This one is similar. The sand paste is really cool. So a little bit of my base coat color, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the sand paste. Just with a little palette knife here. And you can see it takes on the color of your paint. And it's quite granular. The more paste you have in ratio to the paint, so the more paste compared to paint, the more granular it will be. But one of the things that you can do is build up a little bit of texture. So if I want sand sort of piled against these rocks, I can just use my palette knife and make little sand piles. Then I can also go along. I've tried to work with the contours and the texture of the slate. So in here we might have some drier sand. It'll be a little bit lighter when it dries than the base coat. And so on. So you can go ahead and build that up. If you use a brush at all with this, make sure you wash your brush right away. It does get stuck right in the bristles and it's a mess to try and clean it out. The harvested glass, where the water has washed in, I have a little bit on my palette knife, but I'm also going to use a little brush, a little craft brush, and set some of this in. So you can see how easily that goes on. Now this one, the gel medium that it's sitting in does dry to a gloss finish. So if you wanted to varnish your piece first, it would probably be a good idea and either do it in a satin. I think a satin would be nice rather than a gloss, but it's going to really show up on a matte surface. The let me see, the clear gel, the granular gel, is very, very soft and easy to apply. And you can just tickle it along the tops of your waves. You can have some coming in on the shore. And it also dries with a glossy finish. So it really gives a lot of sparkle, which I really like. And it kind of takes this painting from being very flat and boring and having just sky, water, and sand to actually having some dimension and some interest. The little pieces of driftwood I pick up when I go for walks on the beach. And they're just put on with any kind of glue. You can use a school glue. This one that I'm using is called Crystal Glaze, and I use it for making pendants with the acrylic skins. So I'm just going to set those there. My little bit of driftwood has washed into shore. And I'll be putting another piece up in here, and I'll be adding more grasses and so on. And you can also, if you have shells or little pebbles, they will stick into the medium. Or you can put them on with glue or varnish or a matte medium, all sorts of things. So there you go. That's a real quick and dirty on how to spruce up a little beach painting.
That is very cool. You're right. It brings it, that 3D just really brings out all those aspects of your painting. It's just beautiful. Very neat.
Thanks.
And I love the beach too. I love the beach, the feel of the beach, and looking at pictures like that, it just kind of relaxes you and brings you back to that vacation mode and relaxation. So,
well, as I've said many times, like being on Huron is like being on the ocean. It's so vast. And it can be really wicked or it can be absolutely calm, still beautiful. And it changes all the time. So sometimes it can be dark like this painting. Other times it's sort of aquamarine and emerald and, you know, almost tropical looking. So anyway, so that's me.
Good. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. And we'll make sure, a couple of people have asked, you know, if you have a website and a Facebook page, so we'll make sure any links or information for people to find you that we'll put on there. And if there's any questions that you'll take a look at the feed and answer the people that have been asking a few questions about the products you're using and things like that as well. So, but
Yeah, I sure
thank
will.
you.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, Audrey. I
Yeah,
appreciate
this
it.
was awesome. Really enjoyed having you with us, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Hope so. Yeah,
Okay, Deb, take care.
thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye now.
Well, that was wonderful. I love, like I said, I love the beach. I love the beach, the water, everything about it. So that was a real treat to have Debbie on and to share so much information with us. So thank you again, Debbie. And yes, we will make sure that we put all the information there about the products she was using and how you can contact Debbie. So our second live guest today is a young up and coming artist. She's from Toronto, Ontario, and her name is Bridget Poole. Bridget is an artist. Let me find her here, who loves to draw flowers, capturing the intricate details of their petals. In her painting, she loves to explore landscape, waterscapes, and nature. She is accredited by the University of Toronto and Sheraton College for her HBA, which is her Honors Bachelor of Arts, where she specialized in painting and drawing. So welcome, Bridget. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're so excited to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, a little bit about your background and how your creative journey started.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, where do I even begin?
Where do you start?
I think my creative journey definitely started pretty much when my life began, actually. Like my earliest memories involve me like drawing with crayon. In fact, my earliest memory that I can remember involving art, I was actually in daycare. And what happened was there's this kid who was coloring in like a Tarzan coloring sheet, and he colored him green and purple. And I thought, that's not right. He's doing it wrong. I want to color and I want to do it better. But unfortunately I couldn't. So I was dragged away from that coloring fiasco.
Well, I'll tell you, it's
yeah.
very refreshing to have somebody on that can remember when they were in daycare. Because I don't think I could remember when I kind of vividly remember being in kindergarten and where I lived and my teacher, but I mean details. That's it just makes my heart pound and makes me so happy that you can remember that.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, it's funny. I have like a really bad short-term memory, but my long-term memory is fantastic. So good. That probably is part of it. Yeah. So yeah, that's when my creative journey sort of began. Was as young as that. And yeah, so basically when I was in grade school, I think art became sort of like my saving grace for my self-esteem, because bullying was absolutely rampant in my grade school, and it was pretty horrible. And I was not like the other students, so I was definitely a victim of bullying. And art was actually something that I was good at and nobody else was. And so kids started to take notice at how good my drawings were, and they would crowd around me and they would be like, wow, that's so amazing, that's so cool. And suddenly I was receiving this positive attention instead of negative attention. So yeah, I'm very grateful that I've had art in my life for that long.
And we hear that so often, that art therapy is definitely it's there. It's for people, whether you're going through difficult times or depressed or in certain situations. It really is a fabulous therapy. It just takes you to another place, and you don't think about anything else. And it's, it's really kind of unique, isn't it?
For sure. I so enjoy art therapy, and I'm such an advocate for art therapy, especially for young kids. Like when they can't articulate something that's on their heart or on their mind, like art can really help them to do that. So yeah, I love art therapy. I think it's a really great thing. So yeah, so by the time I was in, like, let's say middle school, I knew I wanted to be an artist, but I had always heard, there's no money in art. And I was sort of like, drawn away from art because of that. And then I had an art teacher when I was in high school. And I was actually, so what happened was I decided that I wanted to be a priest, and I still do, and that's still in the process. And I've always taken my Christian faith very seriously, and that's a big part of my art journey as well. So I knew I could do my undergrad in whatever I wanted, so I decided to do art. So I was taking these art classes to help me prepare my portfolio. And so my art teacher for that class, I brought up to her, I was like, there's no money in art. Like, nobody should like do this. And she said, yes, there is. There's money in anything. And that sort of like stuck with me. And it's like, yeah, that's so true. Like, why do people talk down about art as a career? Why do people like put down the arts? Why are they taking arts out of our education? Like, it's just absolutely horrible. So I'm definitely an advocate for arts and for arts remaining in schools, and yeah, all the good. So that's why I'm also an art educator as well, because I just love art and I think it's very beneficial. So yeah, I'd say, so that's kind of where I'm at now. Is I've graduated, I finished my master's of divinity, and I'm just ready to jump into the art world. Yeah, so so what happened was at the end of my degree, I was thinking about it and I was praying about it. And it really felt like now was the time to start my art career, which is really strange because you go to do your master's of divinity and you're like, I'm going to be a priest now. And then you sort of feel like, maybe that's not the thing right now.
Yeah. And that was kind of neat that's how I had heard about you, is because my niece Elise, her husband Andrew, went to school with you, and he is a priest now in
exactly.
Toronto. So she said, have you ever heard of Bridget? You really need to look at her stuff. So I want to say thank you to Elise for directing me to you.
Yeah, it's so great. And I'm really glad to have met Elise and Andrew as well. Yeah, they're really wonderful. So and I'm glad that she's connected you and I together. I think that's really great.
Yeah. So what type of art do you create? What is kind of your all different art forms that you create, or is there certain ones that you like better?
Yeah, so you can see a lot of the work behind me. It's for sale on my newly opened Etsy shop.
Oh, I'll have to make sure we put that down there as well.
So yeah, mainly what I've been doing now is I do paintings and I do drawings. So my paintings have been focused around.
Sure, she'll come back.
Oh, am I back now?
Oh, there you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, great. Yeah. So my paintings.
That's happened.
Honestly, it was bound to happen with me. You know, it just is what it is. So my paintings focus a lot on. Actually, I heard you talking with the previous guest about loving the beach and loving water. And I'm really loving water right now too. I'm actually exploring in my YouTube videos how to paint water and what that process is like, because so what I like to do is, as I learn stuff, I like to teach others my process so we can learn together, which I think is really great. So yeah, in my paintings, I've been doing a lot of water paintings. And then behind me, I really like to draw flowers. So I'm gonna turn this around somehow. Let me see. I could do this before. Here we go.
It's always the pressure of doing it live,
it's always
right?
The pressure. Yeah. So here we go. So we got my flower prints, and then I like to do like quotes and calligraphy and some butterflies as well. So you can see this is sort of what I like to draw the most is just flowers, because they're just so pretty and so delicate and so intricate, and they're very wonderful. So I just like to draw them. It's a lot of fun. The details.
And what are you showing us today? What are you going to
so today for us today? Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to paint watercolor butterflies. Yeah, so let me get that set up here.
I was gonna say, and I've just pinned you, so now you've got the whole screen there.
Brilliant.
So nice and close up.
Excellent. So forgive me, I don't have a tripod.
Now again, you're backwards.
Oh, I'm backwards.
Well, yeah, you're painting, and we had the same thing with the previous with Debbie as well.
Oh, I'm upside down.
Or upside down. Sorry, upside down. That's what I meant.
That's fine. I will turn it around. I will do the same thing.
There we go.
And there we
Yes.
go.
There we
It's
go.
fixed. Excellent. All right, painting upside down, new skill. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, oh good, you can see everything in this shot. Excellent.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wet my paint and I'm gonna create just a little puddle of paint here. And I'm not going to dig into the paint. I'm just going to create a little puddle and I'm going to take from that puddle. So I'm going to get my paint wet. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from lightest and then go darker. So we're going to start with our yellow. So I'm just going to choose, so these are monarch butterflies. So they're all going to look the exact, or not the exact same, but they're going to have the same sort of colors. So I don't have to worry too much about changing color that way. And so I'm just going to start by wetting the page just a little bit, get a nice even thin layer of water going. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this yellow and I'm just going to dab it on, and you can see how it spreads. How it starts to spread. And if I want it to spread a little bit more, I'm going to add a little bit more water. And then it spreads a little bit more. And so while that's still wet, I'm going to take a little bit of my orange and do the same thing there. You can see it spread a lot more that way. So the more water you have on your page, the more it will spread and bleed together. And yeah, that's what we want for this. We want it to be we want it to blend together and bleed together and do its watercolor thing. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try my best. Now, it won't match exactly, and that's okay. But ideally, we want the colors to look pretty similar on both wings. So let me just go in with the yellow again. And it's so relaxing. It really is. It's a very relaxing process to just, you know, just you drop it and it just spreads. And it's just fun. You can just let it do its thing, its watercolor thing that it's so known for. And you can see how much this side has changed just over time as it started to spread and bleed together. And it creates a really beautiful lines, beautiful movement.
That is beautiful. And it does look very relaxing. Now, how do you keep it within the lines that it doesn't bleed outside of where you want it to be?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So the good thing about watercolor is that wherever you put the water sort of becomes its boundary. So unless you, yeah, so I'll show you what I mean. So it will fill up that whole space and it won't go any further. Whereas, yeah, so for example, if the paper is dry and I paint on top of it with, it's not going to go anywhere. It's water that makes it move. So it's actually, it stays exactly where you want it to stay. And you'll get better the more you practice with it as well. I actually really like this effect too. Now it's good to start lighter and go darker because it could easily, the darker colors can easily overpower the lighter colors. And then it's hard to get that boldness back, that brightness back. But that's okay. Now, do you know what you do if you make a mistake?
No, but you're going to tell us, right?
I absolutely am, yeah. So let's say I make a mistake and I have just a little bit like a little dot or here. And I think, oh no, what am I gonna do? Well, all you have to do is take a lot more water and just make it a little bit wet. And while it's still wet, you can quickly dab it up with a paper towel and it's gone.
Wow, that is, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, watercolor is one of the mediums that I really don't do very often because I've had a couple of bad pictures, you know, where you're in that class. I won't say who I took a class from because she's an amazing artist, but I was in a class in Vegas and at a show down there. And of course, I just kept playing with it. And it was just horrible.
Oh dear. Well,
yes, but then you make it look so easy. Like I can do this.
Yeah, you totally can do this. Honestly, watercolor is the least forgiving of the paints, but when you know what you're doing with it, and from the things that I've shown you here, it's not intimidating at all, and it can be actually very forgiving. So here's what it looks like when it's dry. You can see I also did a little bit of the flower as well. And what you want to do is you want to work in sections with watercolor. You want to wait for parts to dry that you don't want to bleed in with one another. So once this is all dry, then you can go in with a fine tip brush. And I'm going to show you the fun part, or the part that I like the most about this, is just taking a very thin brush like this. You can see how thin it is. And you're going to make a little puddle of black. And now we're going to go in with black. How intimidated are you?
Very intimidated, because
Yeah,
black,
well,
once you go, black
well,
is
don't
dark.
be intimidated. Yeah, don't be intimidated. So what we're gonna do, okay, well, I'm a little bit intimidated because I'm painting upside down here, but that's okay. So follow your reference image. I recommend that you have an image of a monarch butterfly in front of you, so that way you can copy the pattern that you see on its wing. So I've created a very, very small pool here of water, a little puddle, and I'm trying to keep it so that it's not very watery, but I can still paint with it, because if it's very watery, then what's going to happen? It's going to bleed. It's going to spread all over. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be very fine. And then if it also doesn't have a lot of water, it will be very bold. So you don't want a lot of water with your black, because water will make it faded, and we don't want faded black. We want it to be nice and bold. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around the outsides, and I'm being very careful. I'm going very slowly, but I'm trying to be confident, right? I'm not scared about this. My hand's not shaking. I'm very confident with what I want to do here. I'm just going in and making the black lines. So I'm going to go all the way around the wing. And what I'm going to do is, once I have it completely outlined, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to do all the details of the wing on the inside. And you can add a little bit of water to your puddle if you notice that, we call it chicken scratch. If you notice that when you brush, it creates lots of white in between. We don't want that chicken scratch stuff. We just want a nice painted line. So once we have that, then we can outline the shapes that we want our wings to have on the inside. So let's see here. I'm going to just follow this line up. And then I'm going to create the shape that I see in this guy's wing. And I recommend, if you are not familiar with butterflies and the patterns of their wings, I just recommend drawing on a separate piece of paper first. Yeah, and just learning what the shapes that are in the monarch butterfly's wing. Just get a feel for what they are before you go in with paint, if you're feeling really nervous about it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, to have different, take a look at pictures of them, you know,
Exactly.
or live, take pictures of ones that you see, and then you can
Exactly.
use
Exactly.
what they have, what you see, you know, the ones that you like, the coloring or the lines or that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So
yeah, and so what I'm doing to create really small details is I'm first creating this grid pattern, and then I'm just slowly cutting into it. You see, instead of just like drawing a circle, I'm going into it and leaving parts that I want with the orange. And then that way, I'm working very slowly, and I'm not panicking. I'm doing very controlled movements. And then you're creating just a very beautiful little butterfly situation. And I wouldn't be able to do this if the orange was still wet. So it's important to wait for it to completely dry before you go in. with the black.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'll just finish this wing and then I can show you the final product. I can show you what it looks like completely finished. See, it's just so nice and so relaxing. And worst comes to worst, if you do a mistake with the black, make it look intentional. Go right back in and try to make it look like you did it on purpose. Because really, who really knows what a monarch's butterfly wing looks like exactly? You know, unless you study them, unless you're making it for like a scientific journal, I don't think you have to worry about being too precise. So yeah, it's just very, very nice to do. So yeah, so that's one completed wing. So once you keep going through all of that, eventually it will look like this.
That is amazing. Just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah. And you
Very
can,
well done.
thank you. And you can actually purchase one of these on my Etsy shop. I make them to order. So if you really like this piece, it's available.
Oh, that's wonderful. And we will make sure that we put all your links on the feed. Plus also I'll put a separate link on our Facebook page so that people can know where to find you. Now you also have lots of YouTube videos, so they can go to YouTube and watch your videos. You have your website, you have your Etsy site. So there's all sorts of places that they can get information, whether they want to learn what you do or they just want to purchase one of your amazing artwork pieces. That
absolutely.
So, and yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have to have you back to see how you progress in your creative journey. And maybe once we get back to doing actual shows, we'd love to have you come and teach for us at one of our shows as well. So
that would be a lot of fun. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you take care, Bridget, and thank you so much for being on the show and for sharing all your knowledge and wealth of your creativity. So
thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was very refreshing. Just a lovely, lovely lady. And I'm just so glad that we were connected again, like I said, by my niece Elise, and that we could have her on the show. And we'll keep an eye on her. I'm sure she's going to go places with her artwork because she just has such a calmness about her, I find too, with her artwork. You know, like that was the first time she was on a live show and just so calm and so relaxed, and which is really nice to see. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. It's been a fun-filled show. We have lots of new things that we're working on. So I'm just quickly going to update you on some of the things that are going on. Next week, we have Nicole Wright is on our show next week. She's from Calgary, Alberta, and she is just colorful. She's a colorful artist. And I'm just so fortunate to have gotten to know Nicole through AFCI because we were on the board together. So that was really neat. Oh, I've got all these people there. I'm waving to you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. So she's on the show next week. And then we have some really great artists coming up. We've got Kathy Hansen, who's from Michigan. She's going to be on in a few weeks. We have Joe Rotella from Ohio. And he is just a must watch artist, kind of dabbles in a little bit of everything. So he'll be on our show August 27th. We have Angela Fair, who will be on our show coming up as well. We'll be having some of the plaid artists, designers coming on. So lots going on. We also... our Art Waves West show is going on. We're actually going to have the event in Olds, Alberta, September 16th to the 20th. So those that are out in Alberta, you can come live. I mean, live in person. We have everything set for that show to continue on. And those that are out there, classes are limited, workshops are limited. We cannot take the 20 and 30 that we normally could. So just make sure if you want to come that you register now so that you get into the classes that you want to be in. Also, we will be having a Pin It Canada virtual live event. I know Debbie James mentioned that she was in the first one, June 12th. It will be coming up. Oh, like I don't have to, I believe it's October 23rd and 24th. We're going to be doing 2 afternoons. It's the Friday and the Saturday, the 23rd and 24th, or 22nd, 23rd. If anybody's on, tell me. Judy, are you there? Help me. What's the dates? Anyway, those are going to be the dates for our second Pin It Canada live virtual event. So keep an eye out for that as well. So anyway, thank you for watching. Again, you can watch the repeat so you can see what they're doing. You can go to our YouTube channel and check it out there. And everybody just take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you next week. Oh, thank you, Liz Garcia. Friday, the 23rd and 24th. I was right. Good. Dates are not all usually good to me. I always have to look up. So thank you, Liz, for helping me out with that one. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. And till next week, it's Audrey from Audrey Live. Thank you.